I welcome you to another part of the Freelancer system guide, this time Colorado. I will start off right at planet Denver, the only habitable planet in the system. It's got the Patriot, the Star Tracker and the Rhino for sale, just like Manhattan. Commodity wise, you can get some good prices for luxury consumer goods, pharmaceuticals, superalloy and superconductors that can be sold decently well elsewhere. Oxygen is not worth of notice. Luxury food, however, is likely about the best prices you can find. Polymers and endocomponents are also bringing some decent money in. Equipment-wise, we have the usual sentry shields, advanced sentry shields, deluxe and heavy thrusters, just like the improved countermeasure dropper, which is worth noting. We also have the usual Justice and Leverblade guns, since it's the Liberty Police base, along with Magma Hammer and Vengeance, Class 4 weaponry, and Class 3 and 4 missiles. Denver was originally the home of miners, smelters and shipyard workers, but these industries eventually collapsed in 600 AS. With a declining long-term water situation in the California system, however, the wealthy elites of Los Angeles began to look elsewhere for a vacation spot and found Denver's rough, beautiful vistas to be ideal. Immigration from Los Angeles and Manhattan injected new life into the Denver economy, reviving the planet even as the new upper class assumed control of the local government. Today, cryopharmaceuticals remain a major research lab on Denver, while Agera Technologies has a planet-side headquarters to oversee its interests in the system. Liberty Police Incorporated (LPI) is well paid by Colorado's new elite to handle security. Coming straight from planet Denver via the trade route, there is planet Gunnison, along with the Navy battleship Rio Grande. Let's get the interesting thing out of the way first. Planet Gunnison is a desolate, airless planet, pocket-marked by craters from stray asteroids. That's it. Now to the interesting part, the Rio Grande. Crew and armament are, of course, classified, so nothing I can tell there. It's got the Defender for sale, as well as oxygen and toxic waste for reasonable prices, though the commodities aren't good anyway. That aside, usual Liberty armaments, Justice, Leverblade, sentry shields, thrusters in deluxe and heavy, Wasp-Proof Disruptor, and Class 3 and 4 missiles. Constructed in 777 AS, the battleship Rio Grande became famous in the 792 AS campaign against the Xenos in the Hudson system. The Rio Grande, currently commanded by Captain John Palmer, protects the economically vital Agera Technologies manufacturing facility at Pueblo Station, and also patrols the trade lane into Kepler and Galileo. Speaking of the devil in the jalapia, Pueblo Station, visited in the second mission here, on the hunt for the rogue smuggler John Ashcroft, was under attack. It's highly classified and is considered to be very, very secure in and on itself, which is interesting since it's a civilian station. Oh well, what gives? Commodity-wise, we have gate lane parts, superalloy, superconductors, terraforming gases and toxic wastes that you can buy here. Beryllium can be sold here for one of the best prices I have at the top of my head right now, along with cobalt, hypercarbones, copper and polymers. That aside, the station also has quite high caliber weaponry, with the debiliator turret, sentry weapons. Okay, that's alright. Debiliator is class 6 I believe. The advanced debiliator, however, is class 7 weaponry, heavy thruster and improved countermeasure dropper, so they're the usuals again. Agera Technologies manufacturing facility. Notice, all ships should be aware that Agera Technologies facilities are protected by private security authorized to use deadly force against any deviation from standard flight procedures. On top of that, I'm gonna show you some of the weapons they sell here actually. It's pretty lovely and pretty high class for Liberty. barely worth the notice, but we'll do it anyway. Outside of Pueblo there is also planet Durango, a tiny volcanically active moon incapable of supporting life. Cinder cones will occasionally explode, spewing great plumes of sulfur hundreds of kilometers above the surface. Nothing more to say here. Up next we have Urbees in the Silverton asteroid field, owned by the Xenos. This one is a bit special. You can have a glimpse of it in the mission where you catch Ashcroft, yet again. And the Xenos are hostile to basically everybody. They have no allies. So, they have no ships for sale, but sell light arms for pretty cheap. You get a decent price for H fuel and engine components should you decide to bring them here. We have advanced rampart shields and the scone shield actually, which is a class 3 shield. They have advanced scorpions, advanced tarantula even, meaning they go up to class 6 weaponry. They have heavy thruster, deluxe thruster, improved countermeasure dropper and the usuals. Along with, well, all of their weaponry, class 2 up to 5. No, 6 was it. This group was originally comprised of heavy manufacturing and mining workers within Colorado and Texas. Many of their ancestors also worked in the research station, which was a good employer for generations. But Liberty increasingly made money from its information technology, licensing and trade lane associated monopolies, rather than hard manufactured goods. Over time, most of the blue-collared workers became unemployed and were pushed to the economic fringe of Liberty society. As the Liberty rich moved to Colorado to escape the paradise lost in California, the Xenos were displaced to a small base in the mined-out Silverton asteroid field. Once the Xenos launched sporadic raids focused against foreign shippers. Whenever they were captured, they were sent to Huntsville Prison in Texas, where cross-fertilization with other inmates only helped to swell their ranks. Xenos also hate the foreigner outcasts that feed the habit of Liberty's morally corrupt rich. For the reason, most of those declared NCR for drug crimes are placed aboard the Sugarland to keep the two groups separate. Because of the Xeno preferences for the other house's ships, Universal Shipping has actually benefited from the attacks and has lobbied the government to take it easy on them. It is rumored that some of their attacks on foreign shipping were not Xenos, but actually mercenaries hired by Universal to harass the competition. There are 2 additional Xeno bases in the independent world systems of Hudson and Kepler. Here, the Xenos have been able to operate more freely, with only occasional Liberty Navy patrols and bounty hunters to secure the areas. They make hit-and-run tactics into Texas frequently, especially to attack the Junkers base at... The Xenos also have 3 weapon platforms, more or less hidden as asteroids. These kind of weapon platforms are amongst the weakest, with only 2 guns, one at the top, one at the bottom. From here on out, we have a bit more of noteworthy things. We have the New York jump hole here, which Sean Ashcroft tried to run through at the Story mission. Number 2 here in the Silverton asteroid field. More on that one a bit later. As I said before, it is roughly in this area in New York. I'm not quite sure since I haven't uncovered it still and didn't bother to for this recording. So, I'm going from here on out. There is in the Copperton asteroid field a Kepler jump hole, which Sean Ashcroft will most likely have originated from, at that specific time, since it was mentioned by Pueblo Station that they came from the cotton field, and surprised them down there. Upsides now in the Alamosa asteroid field, there is another jump hole to the Galileo system. We'll come to Galileo a bit later. It is not a pleasant system, I can tell you that much. Behind planet Denver, there's the Cheyenne asteroid field. Nothing on jump holes is there though, so... A large rock asteroid field. Initial surveys indicated no ore or other resources worth mining. This field is often frequented by rogues. Coming up to the Alamosa asteroid field... Apologies. A large rock asteroid field. Initial surveys indicated no ore or other resources worth mining. Alamosa was a favored refuge of rogues and lane hackers attempting to escape capture by the Liberty Navy. Guess why? The Copperton asteroid field, then again, as like most of the resources in Colorado, the famed Copperton field has long since been exhausted. Trace amounts of copper remain. The Xenos are active in the field, meaning by shooting small asteroids you can gain some copper. And now the Silverton asteroid field. You can get it from the name already, can't you? Copperton field, copper. Silverton field. One of the major sources of silver for all of Liberty. The Silverton field has been mined to rubble and dust. Within the field is the former site of an Agera Technologies manufacturing facility abandoned over a century ago in favor of Pueblo Station. It now houses a large contingent of Xenos. Trace amount of silver remain. I have no confirmation on this one, but I would assume that this may have been the just before mentioned facility made by Agera and, well, given up. On the other hand, of course, this piece of rubble here in the Silverton field could be just said facility, now given up, derelict, broken, and just a pile of garbage. I've no confirmation on either, those are just my theories, because those are the, well, two major pieces, so to speak, of some kind of technology in the system that I'm aware of. So, and with this has been the Colorado system. It's not much, but it is. It's usually just a story mission, but I don't know. You can do quite a bit with Colorado. It's a nice system, everything considered, and it is of course a connection point, since Colorado is the connection point from Manhattan and Kusari space. So when you want to go from Kusari to Liberty, you're certain to cross Colorado, unless you do quite a bit of a way around. And we don't want that. Up next covered will be the California system, followed by Texas. After that, I'm not yet sure how to handle the independent worlds, if I go by rotation or just do as I feel. In any case, I hope you have a wonderful day and enjoyed this little tour through Colorado.